So if you're the average viewer of my channel, you may not be that familiar with Rocket League items and trading. Whether you can't justify spending your hard-earned money on virtual cars, or you're just a filthy tryhard like me, who only cares about the game and not the items, the reality is you may have overlooked a pretty interesting facet of the community. Today, I'm challenging two top dogs of that community to see if they really know their stuff. In fact, I'm actually pitting two Rocket League item traders against each other.
My name is STIG. I started day one of trading back in 2016. Started off on Xbox though. I traded through a lot of the early seasons. Eventually I traded up enough to cash out, buy a PC, start getting into a little bit bigger items like white hats and alpha items. And I've just really loved the community ever since.
I started Rocket League on PS4 the day it came out in July of 2015. I became active on the Rocket League Exchange subreddit. I became moderator and middleman. I moved to Discord later that year, to Trade Central Discord. I've been doing it for years and it's always a lot of fun and happy to help people out.
STIG and PROF have each made 3 pairs of orange and blue card designs for easy, medium, and hard rounds. In each round, participating trader simply has to look at the 2 cars and decide which one is the cheap one and which is the expensive one, the orange or blue side. If you're like me and you have no idea about credits and stuff, don't worry, I've converted the credits into US dollars. Approximately. Just keep in mind, the values aren't exact. Also keep in mind that our traders guessed the cars off of a screenshot, so they didn't get as close of a look as we will. But it was still crazy how despite that setback, they were able to identify certain features that tipped them off. Well, I don't want to give anything away, so let's just get started.
I'm just saying this to throw you off your game, Prof. I'm recording this shirtless just so that it sticks in your head while we're going through. So anything at the advantage here.
I have the pants on.
Well, escalation already.
So the first thing that sticks out to me on the first one there is what I believe to be white Interstellar, and then I'm also picking up white Apexes as well. White Interstellar is kind of a newer black market, seems to be really popular, probably around 3,000 or 4,000 credits, but I think the biggest ticket item that really sticks out to me is these white Apexes. White Apexes were part of the first RLCS rewards and have just been really rare ever since they pretty much got discontinued. They stopped giving out the white Apex. So if I'm not mistaken, those still fetch a really pretty penny. And then you have a nice halo to top it off, and on a white Fennec as well, so that's a really nice setup. I really like that setup. Down below I see a fully burnt sienna car, which is kind of gross. I do like that it matches. Burnt sienna, because it's hard to match and is kind of a little bit of a duller color, has historically been a very cheap color. If that is Helios, I think that was an RLCS reward, and those still have a pretty high value even in burnt sienna. I think that's an RLCS decal as well. RLCS items are dropped during, RLCS games, and they always hold a really good value. But I would have to say the blue vehicle, I think, is probably the most expensive. Those white Apexes, I think, alone are worth the whole setup below.
Well, Stig, I gotta be honest, you were exactly spot on with that differential there, bud. The decal for the burnt sienna Fennec is called Your Band. But yeah, the blue team is in fact the more expensive one.
That's a substantial difference in this one, and that's why we're in the easy round.
I will say, if anyone can make a burnt sienna car look good, it's going to be Prof.
Thank you, I do appreciate that. I see some discount burnt sienna on the orange team right now. And by that, I mean, it looks like orange to me. Orange Octane, orange Hypnotics. I don't know if Stormwatch can come painted. I don't think so, but that is indeed a Stormwatch Black Market decal. Do like the design. It's dark orange for my liking as usual, but something I would actually use for sure. As for the blue team, I am looking at a lot of white. Those would be white emeralds. I see a beautiful white sparkles, I believe it is. We got a nice little white octane body. Not cheap. I'm not too familiar with the octane decal. This is gonna be really difficult and probably the hardest decision I've ever made in my entire life, but I gotta say it's a blue team on this one.
How do you do, Stig?
Right about just about everything. It was a white Sacred Boost, not Sparkles. They are very similar. As far as the decal goes, it is called Royal Tyrant. It's actually a black painted Royal Tyrant.
You got me good, Stig. You got me good.
All right, well, let's move on to the medium round. I wonder what color the orange team's going to be.
Surprised. Burnt Sienna again from the Burnt Sienna King himself. All right, so first thing I notice is the decal. That does look to be just a standard lone wolf. It used to be my favorite. I mained it for a very long time, and I believe that's unpainted unless he's tricking me. And then I also noticed on that one, it is a sky blue octane, white Yamains. I feel like I've seen that boost, still have a pretty good value. I don't know the name of that boost. But down below, I do see a burnt sienna octane, burnt sienna chakrams for the wheels. Sherpa is an RLCS decal. It's actually an interesting one too. For the longest time, lime was actually the most expensive because a lot of pros use lime and there's a lot of good color combinations, but those catch a very high price. I am going to go ahead and say that the one over here is probably the most expensive, the blue one, simply because the boost, I feel like I've seen that boost around. It's titanium white. White items always catch a pretty good amount. The white Yamains, octane is sky blue. So yeah, I think the blue has this one beat out. It's definitely a lot closer than the first one.
Okay, well, you are correct. The blue team is the more expensive one. However, on the blue octane, that is a white lone wolf. For the orange side, that is not called the Sherpa decal. That is called Dune Racer.
I'm a little salty about that one. Yeah, it's Dune Racer. I still stand by the lime still being the most expensive in all the history. I just got the name wrong, so I'll take that out.
Oh, okay. Okay, another common theme. I see a lot of white. Of course, I see a white Fennec, probably one of the most popular bodies out there. It's rocking a Hex-Tide Black Market decal. Those wheels are a white Aero Mage. That's the term I was looking for. As for the red side or the orange side, first thing I actually saw is a classic wheel. Crimson Voltaics, also known as Crimson Lightnings, back in the day. Before Silence ran out of ideas. It is on a Crimson Fennec with a mainframe, which also happens to be Crimson. I can tell by the way the lines are moving that it's Crimson and not black because the front of the car is also black. As for the boost, it's a little hard to tell. My guess would be Torrent. I'm going to have to go ahead and say that the blue side is more expensive. Crimson may be expensive, however, Voltaics are not as expensive as they used to be. Kind of leads me to believe that it might have been, in a literal sense, a red herring.
Yeah, so your selection's right. Blue one is the more expensive one. The boost is a RLCS reward. It is called...
Is it Fusion?
It is Fusion, correct. It's a white Fusion boost. So
Prof's egg is punching the air right now.
Crimson Lightnings or Voltaics, since Sonic changed the name, I think a lot of OG traders will appreciate that. Used to be the most expensive item in the game.
So far, I think the blue side has been the more expensive one every time. Are you guys just saying that blue is always more expensive?
I don't know, man.
You know when you're taking a Scantron and you answer like C 4 times in a row, and it goes again, and you're just like, it can't be C again.
Let's move on to the final round. So far, no one has looked too much like an idiot. Everyone's looked pretty smart so far. Let's see if that changes for the hard round.
The first thing that I see is an item that used to be kind of a status symbol, white Zombas. However, those were recently released in item shops, so values on those have tanked quite a bit. I also noticed the Dominus over here is painted white. I don't believe that's tradable. I know it was in the item shop, and I know that because I missed it, and I've been sad ever since. So I don't think that's tradable. Hex-Tide, it's white, but I believe, based on the pattern, I believe that is a secondary. So I don't believe this is painted white. Maybe trying to trick me a bit. That's a white Ion, which is a really clean boost. And then for the red side, I believe that decal is called a Funny Book. I know that they do come painted. However, again, I don't believe this one is. I see what looks to be black Veloci, which is a great black wheel, Walmart version of black DHEs. Some people actually like them better because they do have a little bit more black. Really nice wheels. Actually, I believe in the current economy, I think those wheels are worth more than white Zombas now. And then I notice a Crimson Thermal gets in the way for some comp players who don't really see it in comp play much, but still a really bright boost. I am going to say, this one's definitely the hardest. I am going to say, because of the price difference in wheels, I think the boosts are about the same. I think the bodies are about the same because you can't really trade the white. I do think that the Hex-Tide's worth a little more than that Funny Book. However, I do think the wheels are worth more. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the red side is more expensive.
Prof, how'd he do?
You got it wrong. Blue side, as it's been going the whole video, is the more expensive side.
Really?
Yes, that is correct.
So you double reverse Uno'd him?
Basically, no you. So that was, in fact, a black Funny Book on the red side. I know it is very hard to tell. I can barely tell half the time anyway, and I did have to go back and double check just to be sure. And as for the Hex side, It was in fact painted white, not unpainted.
Oh.
Thought you were gonna try to stomp me on this round, so I just went with my gut and thought it wasn't a painted one. Dang.
So we finally managed to fool a trader. It wasn't us that fooled the trader. It was another trader that fooled the trader.
What a traitor.
What an absolute
What a
trader.
traitor.
Okay, so let's move on to the hard round for Prof.
All right, hit me. Let's do it. So, the first thing I see is the darkness of the first card, the blue side. Those look like black Yamanes to me. They don't quite look like Tunicas. I'm looking at a default endo body, I'm pretty sure. My brain is telling me that Stig actually made it black. You know what? I'm gonna go with black. I'm gonna say it's a black endo body because those technically are still available. They just don't make them anymore. That looks like a Fire God black market decal. Overall, very nice looking car, but I'm gonna have to stick with that gut feeling about the endo being painted black. The other side, I can definitely tell you we're looking at a white endo there. That's for certain. We're also looking at white Zombas once again. Very good choice. That is an Interstellar decal. That's white. I think the secondary color is saffron for the outside part. I was really hoping he wouldn't do anything like this. Endo, the black endo is discontinued. That really gained a lot of value. I'm gonna say the blue side has to be more expensive.
All right, Stig, how did he do?
I don't know how he used the wrong formula and got the right answer, but yes, the blue one is more expensive, and you actually called me out on something. You got me. That is a black endo. You are right about everything you said with black endo. I'm impressed, and I'm impressed because the reason it was removed from the game is there is not a single distinguishable difference between stock and black, so you just kind of called me on my BS. Good job on that.
Nice.
Those aren't Yamanes. Those are black Tunicas. You were right. It is an Interstellar on this endo over here. However, it isn't painted white. It's painted black. So what you're looking at there is a primary color of yellow, a secondary color of white, and a black Interstellar. So put all that together and you get a bunch of different funky designs on there.
Looking back at that, now if I'd actually thought it was titanium white, that would be a lot more expensive.
Didn't you say it was titanium white Interstellar?
I thought it was white.
You said it was, but then you still thought the other one was more expensive.
Yeah, because I said you used the wrong formula.
And then you were right because you were wrong. Amazing.
You're right, black endo is actually the most expensive by double what white is because of that discontinued. There's a few items out there that are like that, but I think the endo is probably my favorite of the discontinued items.
So we had a theme where we built up where it was like you guys kept choosing the white bodies, but in this case, you tried to throw the curveball, and Prof manages to smash that curveball right out of the park.
GG's, Prof.
I could not have gotten better participants. This has been incredible.